this is now the 5th or 6th big GPU launch since you took over the lab?
There's been 6 so far in this quarter, so I think that's correct.
Yeah. And how did you feel it went? Let's talk about sort of our process for evaluating product. So I want 2 answers. One is, how do you think because we did test the card. We uploaded a short circuit video looking at the 5060 Ti 16 gig.
Are we talking about the?
How'd your team do?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the lab. It's been a weird journey. Because like I have quite a few teams at this point. I've never taken over a team though. Every team that I've had, like everyone on all of my teams, other than the lab, I hired them.
Yeah.
All of them. So like this was a very new experience. And there were some things that like I tripped on at the start because I'm just very not used to this. My first time doing that, all that kind of stuff. Getting used to new people, getting used to new processes. The lab does a lot of stuff. Getting used to that. Trying to figure out like what the heck is even going on with different parts of it. Yep. I don't know if you remember, but there was a thing that I completely shut down, which was like literally most of the work that they did within the first week of joining.
Yeah,
so
should we just tell the people?
Sure, yeah. I stepped in, and one of the first things I did was I said that I would have a meeting with every single person in the department, a one-on-one with every single person in the department before I made any drastic decisions. And then I got 2 one-on-ones in, paused all of the remaining one-on-ones, and did an extremely dramatic decision, which I don't think that was one of the trips, actually. I think that was the right move.
Yep.
And that was, I figured out like what percentage of time people were spending on different things, and it was coming out from like almost everyone. A huge percentage of it was short circuit.
Yeah.
And short circuit is cool, but I'm looking at the cost and size of the lab. And if you try to look at the holistic cost of both the equipment, the space, the salaries, all that type of stuff, and then you apply the percentage of that lab's time that was being spent on short circuit, and the math just is really not mathing here.
Bad mathing.
So I was like, whoa, let's pause this if we can.
Which isn't to say that we're not going to do labs testing on short circuit. We obviously just did.
We did like 30 of them over the last quarter or something.
But we had a lot of workflow things to figure out to smooth out that process before we could do it.
And we're still working on those things. Like we're hiring testers right now. We're in I don't know if the post is still up. If you're applying now, I mean, there's a chance, but it's probably too late. But we're interviewing testers right now. Mm-hmm. We're hiring 3. We just brought on testing coordinator.
Nice.
Which is going to be really nice as well.
Yep.
So that person's job is going to be, to keep the tests flowing. One thing I said the beginning, what I want them working on is mostly communication. Make sure people outside our department know what's going on. Make sure people inside our department know what they're supposed to be doing, know what's going on, make sure that things are flowing properly, all that kind of stuff. In the longer run, something that I want them working on is optimizing like station efficiency. And what I kind of mean by that is, say we have some GPU embargo.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that every other station should stay cold. That's one of the ideas of having more testers as well.
Yeah.
Is even if the majority of the testers are all focused on one like crazy project, there should still be enough extra testers that we can keep the other stations kind of moving and keep things pumping through the lab. But yeah, I was like, okay, we're spending all this time doing this. There's no free time to work on process. There's no free time to do all this kind of stuff. Let's pause for like 2-3 months and really try to hammer this stuff out. We rewrote a ton of process. We redid a ton of different things and kind of got a better look of what we wanted in the future. When I first started with the department, I was looking sometimes hours forward. And then now at this point, I'm looking months, year plus forward. And there's some cool plans. But
okay.
This was a good, the 6 GPUs was a fantastic push.
Now let's talk about how things went with the 5060 Ti from like an overall execution outside of labs standpoint. You know what? Here, why don't I read through the notes? On April 16th, NVIDIA launched the 5060 family. which included the RTX 5060 with 8 gigs of RAM, the RTX 5060 Ti with 8 gigs of RAM, and the RTX 5060 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM. Even though these cards are out now, almost everywhere only lists the 5060 Ti 16 gig. The other two models are expected to, be physically present in the real world at some point, but nobody seems to know when. So we decided, not because the lab was not capable of doing the testing, as Luke already mentioned, the lab is fully capable of doing the testing. In fact, they did some testing for our short circuit video on the 5060 Ti 16 gig, but we decided that because we didn't feel that this situation was very consumer first, that we were not going to do a review, but instead did a rant style video about how this entire launch felt, not just the 60 class cards, but the 50 series in general, from the perspective, from several perspectives. From an NVIDIA partner perspective, we included a little bit of that, from a press perspective, and especially from a consumer perspective. One thing that we did not really include in the video, because I couldn't say this factually for certain, but one thing that we didn't include in the video is that my personal theory for why they rolled it out this way is that they want customer confusion. I think that they want a heap of reviews on the 5060 Ti 16 gig, right? And because this is the first member of the family that anyone can get their hands on. And they want those ones
few on the remaining
to be at the top of the search results. And then I believe that NVIDIA had no intention whatsoever of seeding the other cards in any kind of timely manner, or maybe at all, basically just leaving it to their board partners or leaving it to media outlets to go and source them on their own in drips and drabs, by which time there would be literally zero remaining excitement around the 5060 series, because even the Ti 16 gig was not exactly going to light anyone's world on fire in terms of the value proposition of it. That doesn't mean it's a bad card. It just means that it's not exciting anybody. And I think that the benefit for NVIDIA of this kind of confusion and of this, of having something with a very similar model name, have all the views, all of the SEO, all the algorithmic weight, is that people would see something affordable, 5060, 5060 Ti 8 gig, something sort of within their budget on the shelf, and go, oh, okay, so 5060, like, is that good? And they'd end up with a review of the 5060 16 gig that would look better than the thing that they're actually buying. That is my theory.
Is this counter to your theory from, I think, 4 WANs ago, where you're saying that reviewers don't matter anymore?
I think that...
Because I think that theory's wrong.
I think that NVIDIA thinks reviewers still matter, but not enough to do this whole thing properly. Or they think that reviewers can have an influence, and I think that this was an effort to actively work against it. So I think that is NVIDIA's intention, whether it would work or not.
Got it. That makes sense.
I think they wanted the perception of the 5060 series to be set around the performance of the Ti 16 gig, and then they could deliver the lower price of the other ones and hopefully keep those things separated from each other.
Do you remember another time, because I don't, when NVIDIA launched a card with no embargo?
Yes. One of the Titan cards, they did it. And I outright refused to make content about it. Yeah. I was like, this is completely unacceptable. And some people seem to get really confused. I went on a shadow ban spree. Anyone who said that our upset was because we're just like butthurt we didn't get a free card,
that's dumb,
got permanently banned, because that you're actually too stupid for me to listen to anything that you say ever again.
The value of a free card compared to like the average daily expenses at this company is hilarious.
It's actually trivial.
You're just Dan laughing in the background. That's just like clearly not.
The reason it matters, the reason that we have review embargoes and we have organization around a launch, is so that it benefits everybody.
It's fair play.
NVIDIA has time to brief the press on their side of the story. The press has time to verify that story and form their own thoughts and opinions.
Rather important.
And then Everyone goes live with their equally equipped side of the story, and the consumer gets a balanced view that can be put together with time and care and attention, and will not be perfect. Launch reviews are never going to be perfect, because over the days and weeks and months and sometimes years after a launch, we're probably still going to be learning more about the product, but at least it's a starting point. And there's a huge benefit to consumers where they can go, okay, everyone had a fair shot at this. You know, whose coverage do I like the best? And they have a choice. And they don't have to just pick one. They can get a perspective from all of these different media outlets.
Which
and that
we suggest they do anyways.
Is a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah.
Providing a card on Thursday afternoon or whatever it was it Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon?
I feel like it was Thursday, but I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. The point is, providing a card over a weekend with a launch embargo Tuesday morning is not good for consumers, because it means that everyone who's trying to get these videos out for embargo is going to have less time to validate NVIDIA's claims, and B, is just f***ing disrespectful. It's just completely disrespectful. And the truth is, it's not me. I'm not going to crunch over the weekend. We have the benefit of being a large enough organization now that I'm not the one who actually sits there and puts the cards onto the benches and makes the graphs and puts everything on a timeline, edits it. No, that's going to be my team. Utterly disrespectful.
And they do it. We've got passionate people,
of
but
course.
Like we don't want them to, which is why, in part, we didn't actually do the big LTT video for this card.
Yeah.
Because
it's just, and it's one of those things where it's like, look, if it was a one-time thing, right? And there was like a good reason. If NVIDIA was basically like, okay, no, hold on. If NVIDIA was a way smaller company, okay. Hold on. Let me pitch you a hypothetical, okay? And this product, let's say NVIDIA was more like a big screen. You know, big screen, they make the Beyond VR headset.
By the way, do you have an iPhone?
What? Yeah.
I spent money for once, and I need to do a face scan.
Oh, you bought a big screen Beyond too?
I bought a big screen Beyond.
I might want to as well.
Dude, it's been so, sorry to derail. It's been so long since I've bought. I'm still riding on the Vive. And right. I watched a bunch of content on the big screen Beyond 2, and I couldn't get this thought out of my head of like, it's time.
It's really good.
It's time.
It's sick.
So I'm stoked.
So anyway.
I'm very stoked.
Okay, good. Then let's say it was big screen.
Sure.
In the past, other than their software, they've only ever had like one hardware product. Okay?
Yep.
Now they've got, and it sold, my understanding is like pretty decent.
Yep.
But like, you know, pretty decent, right?
Still, it's a niche
product.
Yeah.
Niche product. Okay. So if big screen were to say, okay, here's the situation. We've got like We've got like 3 headsets. The bulk shipment lands like this day. We must launch it this day.
Funding reasons, we're screwed.
We are like out of cash.
Yeah.
We have payroll that day. If we don't get pre-orders in, you're going to love this thing. We are absolutely 100%.
The company will be gone.
We're 100% certain you're going to love this thing. You've got like 4 days. Could you ask the team to work over a weekend? We are so confident that your independent, unbiased review is going to validate our claims that this thing is awesome. That we're, look, we're willing to work with people. I'll be like, okay, all right, it's not going to impact the coverage, but yeah, I'll make sure people are here on the weekend. We're going to try and hit this embargo because I think you guys are doing great things. Everything that I've seen about the product seems really positive. My experience with working with you is that you've been very honest in your assessments of the quality of the product and the way that you present it. All of these things align. Yeah, let's get everybody in on the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll come in on the Sunday night. We'll get the film, we'll get it shot. We'll get an editor in another time zone booked for like an overnight edit. Then we'll have a look at it with one of our editors in-house on Monday morning. Let's get this thing done, No problem. But that's not NVIDIA.
No.
NVIDIA had absolutely no reason whatsoever financially to have this launch on that day. Imagine, Luke, if you will, if NVIDIA had delayed the launch of the 5060 series for 3 weeks and given us darn near a month to work on our review, they would have launched the card and they would have all sold out. From a financial standpoint, there is no reason whatsoever that it had to launch that day. In fact, 2 of the 3 cards were not available at all. And my understanding is that another media, I don't want to name them, not because I don't want to name them, but because
You're not sure?
I'm not sure if it was them.
You look it up? Did what?
Okay, well, I heard through the grapevine, I have not verified this, that someone said that add-in board partners were explicitly told not to seed the other cards, even if they like did have samples.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember who it was, though.
I think it was.
Okay, I'm going to say it then. I'm going to say I think it was Hardware Unboxed.
But I'm not sure.
But I'm not 100% sure, so please do not quote me on that. Anyway, the point is that NVIDIA clearly had absolutely no... Yeah, Elijah says that's right. Good.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Okay, NVIDIA clearly has no sales incentive whatsoever. Not only that, but they are actively ensuring that we cannot test these cards. Well, how can I possibly assume anything other than bad faith, bad intentions, when you're actively working to keep information about these cards out of consumers' hands?
It's not like this isn't a pattern. As much as I praised them earlier for like, if we can criticize them in that video and they will still work with us, that's very heads up. That's cool. That being said, this is a rather egregious pattern. I don't think that there has been...
Oh, wait. Elijah says, I don't know if Hardware Unboxed said that. We heard directly from board partners. Okay. Hathos says that was Hub, though, so maybe they heard the same thing. So take that for what it is. Take that for what it is.
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
But I at least since the 1000 series...
Hub apparently said it as well. Okay.
I feel like before then, but at least from the 1000 series, I haven't seen an NVIDIA launch that didn't have just like egregious falsehoods in the announcement.
I've seen some.
Since 1000 series?
Yeah.
What one?
Yeah, I mean, as much as people ragged on them about it, I don't think 3090 was particularly misrepresented. They said it was 8K capable with DLSS help, and it was.
Did they compare it to other generations? I got to look this up now.
I don't remember, but it was like very powerful compared to other generations, so there was no reason for them to fudge it.
I mean, they've had 1000 series was really good too.
Yeah, that's true.
They fudged that.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how much
true.
it matters.
Yeah, that's probably true. Overall, I think the 30 series was a pretty honest launch, and they seemed to be competing hard. They seemed focused because they had the new console generation, and they seemed very focused on beating it with laser precision. And other than that, no, I do agree with you.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's like that I don't know, it's just...
But let's come back. Maybe there's other reasons. Maybe it's not financial, right? Like, what are the other reasons that NVIDIA could have for forcing this launch on this day, other than financial? Maybe an image reason. Maybe they promised that these cards would launch on that day. Well, then they failed that anyway, because you can't buy them anyway, and you can't even review them. Okay, so what other possible reason could motivate a company to? Does someone internally have like a KPI that they have to launch the cards in this quarter? Well, there's plenty of time left in this quarter. Like, what is the? I'm trying to understand what reason there could possibly be to give us 4 or 5 days or whatever it was, 2 of which being a weekend, to review these cards, other than just trying to hide information from consumers and out of a complete lack of respect for partners. Those are the only 2 reasons that I can come up with. Or just completely not fucking caring. Okay, so there's a 3rd reason. That's it. That's all I got. So it's really hard. It's really hard for me to say anything other than that's not okay. That's not going to fly. And I've seen another bad take, but not a bannable take. Another bad take is, okay, you guys you should never talk about NVIDIA again. You should never review an NVIDIA card again.
No, we absolutely still should.
They have like 80% market share in the discrete GPU space. We have to review things that people are going to buy anyway, so that we can make sure that if they want to know what's going on, that we can give them the what's up. Like, we're not just going to outright stop reviewing their products. And as I mentioned in that video, we're not even going to stop working with NVIDIA. We are going to work with NVIDIA because at the end of the day, they're overpriced, and I think they have a terrible attitude, but the products are mostly good. Like, how many of you have an NVIDIA GPU that you're really happy with? I bet a lot of you do. All right, then. So we're gonna
happy with mine.
So we're gonna have to work with these guys. But that doesn't mean that just because we're gonna work with them that we're not gonna call them out when they do something that's unacceptable. All right, what else was there in here? There's some silver line. Yes, okay. So we decided not to post a review. So we still have unboxings, and we will do those for the other cards once they land. You can also head to lttlabs.com. We'll have a full list of benchmarks for these cards once they are ready. Any big updates on the Labs website lately, or not really?
Not since the ones that we posted last, I think.
PSU Circuit's been doing great.
Yeah.
Channel's been getting more views and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay. So there's some new articles and stuff. We've got a review of the RM1000X up there.
We're planning an article right now based on that email that Lucas sent you, which is a thing that we've been talking about doing for a while, which is we want to take the whole build in public model and apply it to the lab a little bit. So there's a couple ways that this will be showing its face soon. One of them is we're planning. So I don't want to leak it. We'll probably be talking about it next week's WAN show, but I want it to be Lucas's words because it's his stuff, not mine. But we're planning some potential changes to power supply testing. That's all I will say now. But those details and the changes that will be happening are going to be talked about in a Labs article.
Cool.
And then there will likely be a forum post accompanying it so that people can give feedback.
I love it.
And we're going to be saying like, hey, this is the situation that we're dealing with.
Yep.
This is the plan that we are planning on implementing.
Let us know.
But let us know.
I want to do so much more of that. Dude, I was disheartened to find out that the acoustic chamber's done.
Why were you disheartened?
Because I didn't know.
Oh.
And we didn't make a video about it.
Well,
or write an article about it.
We're going to be writing an article.
Get pictures of it being worked on.
Well, there wasn't a lot. We just glued panels.
Well, but it made a big difference, did it not?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's going to be an article.
Fine, good.
Yeah,
but I would have liked to make a video about it.
So this was part
Keeping
2.
all the cool stuff for his website while my videos languish. While I'm making videos about fire trucks, I'm so desperate.
You can no, you can't spray the sound chamber. Sorry. Maybe the RF chamber. The RF chamber could probably take getting sprayed. It's metal.
Okay.
The outside of it?
Why would we do that?
I don't know. Fire truck videos, whatever.
Oh my God.
But yeah, there's going to be an article on the sound chamber stuff, and there might be a short circuit, maybe, and the short circuit would feature what we're calling Labs experimental graphs. So the graphs will indicate that these are tests under construction, effectively.
Okay, sure.
So it's a way for us to try to do stuff and put stuff out there that we're pretty confident in, but we're still kind of evaluating a little bit. So there will be an article talking about the current state of our sound testing, and there will be a short circuit video coming out with some of that sound testing in it. The article will explain what we're doing, how we're doing it, and we'll collect feedback. And then the video will show experimental graphs, and we can get some input on what the graphs show. Can people understand what we're trying to convey with the graph? That type of stuff. Yeah, it's coming along. Things are happening. It'll be good.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm just.
But again, we'll probably talk about that more, probably on WAN, when those articles are actually posted up. So I don't want to talk too much about it right now.
All right. So 4060 Ti 16 gig. There are some silver linings. According to Hardware Unboxed
5060 Ti.
and our numbers, sorry, yeah, thank you. It appears to range from 10 to 20% faster than the 4060 Ti in both 1080p and 1440p, while being $70 cheaper than last gen at MSRP. The issue is whether you can get it at that price. The good news, though, the even gooder news, is that there is another card that you can buy for 1080p and even light 1440p gaming that appears to be getting much more affordable. Even though one user posted on r/Intel Arc, who was upset about not being able to find stock, Several people in the comments said they are getting them no problem with minimal markup over MSRP. So our notes here say, dun, 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 go shopping for a B580. So here, let's take my laptop for a little spin. Intel B580. No, don't stop it. Okay, Intel B580. How are we doing here? What do you think, Luke? Here, before don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think B580 will be in stock?
No.
No.
I'm gonna go with no.
If it's in stock,
okay,
let's create a branching situation here. If it's in stock, bearing in mind that its MSRP, like Intel's MSRP price for a base card, is $250 US. What do you think the price will be?
$350.
$350. Okay, let's go shopping. Okay, well, the Gunner is in stock and is $379, but this Onyx is $329. This one is $319.
The last time I looked, there was no stock, so this is kind of cool that there is actually stock.
In stock.
$319 is really good.
I don't know who the crap Onyx is.
Me neither.
But their Odyssey Arc 12 gig card is $320.
Wow, it's smoking.
Okay, so hold on a second.
But it's on sale too.
Acer Nitro, add to cart, $319.
Decent looking cooler too.
Intel. Oh, hold on.
It's a stock.
What is this? See price and cut $395. Get real. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, this one's out of stock. This one for $269 is out of stock. Okay, but hold on a second. Hear me out here. Because this is where things get crazy. Apparently, Intel Arc is still experiencing some shortages in the US, but in other markets, apparently it has chilled out a lot. And that appears to be very true. Check this out. Intel Arc Limited Edition,
in
$359.
So that's CAD.
That is Canadian dollars. Hold on a second here.
Whoa.
Dude, I looked like 2 weeks ago and they're out of stock everywhere.
See what the stock is at the individual places.
Hold on. CAD to USD. That is $10 over MSRP, which in normal times
still over MSRP
would not be that exciting to me.
Yeah.
But in the Tanao times is actually quite exciting. Let's go ahead and check. They have one in Edmonton West. They have one in Victoria. Okay, not a ton of stock.
Okay, so they're not out of stock now, but there's like almost none.
But can I order it online? Added one to your cart. I can order this in Canada right now for $260 US. And that's
pretty good.
Is a lot of gaming card for $260 US.
Yeah.
So I believe that we are finally seeing some inventory coming in of these Intel Arc cards, even if it's not enough to satisfy the appetite of the US market, which apparently is experiencing a surge in retail shopping right now. So the timing could be part of it. Intel might have allocated enough B580 to the US only to realize too late that US shoppers are hoovering up consumer products right now in anticipation that pricing could go up due to the tariff situation. And I've been experiencing that firsthand on LTT Store. So reminder, we have extended the ShipStorm sale event. Worldwide free shipping on orders over $150 to help our American friends down there get anything that they need before whatever impacts ultimately affect us from the tariffs, as well as to, say, hey, buddy, hope you and the rest of the world love to have products from lttstore.com. So ShipStorm sale event still ongoing and has been crazy. Has been crazy. So I am optimistic for Intel Arc. It's like, okay, new CEO, what's his name? Lip Bhutan, I think, something like that.
Not sure.
Okay, doesn't matter. The point is, if you're watching right now, if you happen to be watching, if anyone, you've got the Intel CEO in your DMs, okay, you clip this, you send it to them. Please don't give up on Arc desktop.
Yeah.
Gamers need you. The gaming market needs you. Okay, it might be too late. It might be too late to bring back the higher end Battle Mage discrete GPUs. It is not too late for Celestial. Okay, do it. Do the full lineup for Celestial, because that team has been working so hard.
Cooking, dude.
The fact that in a few short years they have gone from Intel HD graphics essentially, in terms of the
discrete competitor,
to a legitimate discrete competitor. I know the margins aren't great right now. We know that for a fact because we know the die sizes, okay, and we know what process it's built on. It's built at TSMC, so they're under the same cost pressure that AMD or NVIDIA are on these ARC GPUs. I can understand why they might not be that incentivized to build a ton of them, but they're onto something. They're onto something. This is good. This is important. This is a billion-dollar industry that, as far as I can tell, NVIDIA is completely not paying attention to right now. They are on complete autopilot. Do it.
I want to show one more thing for the lab site before we move on, because I forgot that I could show this.
Hold on, one more thing. Stephen J says, Linus, Memory Express also has a bunch of B580 challengers on their site for 409 CAD, which is about 35 or 40 US dollars over MSRP, but that's like an OC card.
Yeah.
So that's not even...
So it's probably going to be over MSRP anyways.
Not even ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see them here. Here. So here's, they have these challengers as well. ASRock Challenger OC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those even look sharp.
They have more stock? Oh, dude, they got tons of these.
Let's go.
Like 10 plus at like every store. I could literally go to the Langley store, walk in and buy one right now. For here, 409.
Oh, that's such a normal sounding thing, but just hasn't been for a while.
You can't because it's closed because it's a holiday.
Oh, got
Get wrecked, Linus.
So for $46 over MSRP, I could have a Challenger OC card when they open tomorrow.
Yeah.